The governor of Michigan, before the one on the left, became the president of the United States. Before Donald J. Trump would be unleashed on the world, we here in Michigan got a coming attraction for what you would all soon experience. It began in 2010 when a Republican named Rick Snyder was elected governor of Michigan. He had no experience in public service, but he was very, very good at foosball.
Oh, not again!
And he was very, very rich. He had been CEO of Gateway Computers. You remember, right? The piece of shit computer. And he told the voters of my state that he was going to run Michigan like a business.
I was hired to serve our citizens. They're my customers.
Ah, yes. We're the customers. The customers of the big business that he was running. The ones that would pay for his billion-dollar tax break for the rich.
The Michigan business tax is gone.
Emboldened by his victory, he was not satisfied with just being governor. He wanted more power. And how do you get more power? You scare the people and declare an emergency.
Governor Rick Snyder appoints an emergency manager.
Prop 1, the emergency financial manager.
What
Citizens got their emergency manager, and it is official.
State police and a security team out to try and keep peace.
The emergency manager bill is now a law.
Governor Snyder signed the emergency manager law.
Even though there was no emergency. He staged a coup. He removed from power the elected mayors and city councils of Detroit, Flint, Pontiac, and Benton Harbor, and installed his cronies to run them in the way that he saw fit. This was a premeditated plan to reduce and privatize public services so that corporate people like him could make more money.
People don't think that this is happening in the United States. If you don't say like Flint, Michigan, and you just say the powers of this person, like they'll think like it's Honduras. This is a way to target black and brown communities.
It was a king. The governor put a king into the city of Flint, and he ruled without being responsible to anyone.
Look at the cities in Michigan that are under emergency management.
The ones the governor took over.
The governor took over. At one point, 50% of African Americans in the state were under emergency management, compared to 2% of whites.
Governor Snyder's idea to remove democracy from Michigan's black cities so impressed the future president that he came to offer his support.
Can you share your thought on an emergency manager situation that's still unfolding in our city?
Well, that is unfolding. I've been reading about the emergency manager, and my attitude is whatever it takes to make that next step. We could say this maybe a little bit about the country. Whatever it takes to get it to the next step is what I would support.
Governor Snyder wanted to flex his new autocratic powers. He saw an opportunity to take advantage of the poorest city in the country and of the largest source of fresh water in the world. Option A was that he could just leave well enough alone. After all, for 5 decades, the city of Flint got its water from Lake Huron, a 10,000-year-old pure glacial lake, water delivered to Flint through publicly owned pipelines. Or there was option B. Why not build a new, completely unnecessary pipeline that would benefit investors, his major campaign donors, and banks like Wells Fargo? The only catch was that while the new pipeline was being built, Flint would have to switch over from Lake Huron to the industrial sewage ditch known as the Flint River.
We believe there was a significant financial fraud that drove this.
Was it for the benefit of the local unit of government or for the individual?
Individuals.
Individuals who are doing it for themselves.
Yes. I believe greed drove this.
In April of 2014, the governor switched the city of Flint's drinking water to the Flint River.
Here's the Flint. Here's the Flint.
Here is his team toasting each other over what would amount to, in essence, a slow-motion ethnic cleansing.
3, 2, 1.
Some residents are wondering, will we see a change?
No, average resident won't notice any difference.
Within days, the average residents noticed a difference. A big difference. Their hair started to fall out. Skin rashes appeared all over their bodies. And the children got sick. Parents whose children showed no symptoms were still worried that they might be sick. Because as one doctor noticed, nearly every child had ingested lead.
There is no safe level of lead in a body of anybody. There is no safe level of lead. It is potent and it is irreversible, which means once it is in your blood, it wreaks havoc.
You mean irreversible for how long?
Forever. It literally drops IQ levels of children. It leads to impulse disorder and then memory issues, violent behavior, aggressiveness. It also impacts your DNA. Moms exposed to lead, you can see the DNA changes in their grandchildren.
Word of the developing disaster reached the governor's office. And so he quietly dispatched an aide to Flint to find out what exactly was going on. The report came back with bad news. The state investigator recommended switching immediately back to the Lake Huron water. But the governor seemed to have other thoughts, like getting PR people to make the problem go away.
Water that is leaving the plant is always assured to be at the top notch of quality.
For the governor, there was an even greater tragedy. The Flint River water was corroding the auto parts at the General Motors factory. When the governor heard this, he blew his top. After all, General Motors had donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Republican Governors Association to help elect candidates like Rick Snyder. And here he was, damaging their property. For Governor Snyder, that was a bridge too far. He immediately ordered the water in Flint to be switched back to Lake Huron, but only for the General Motors factory. The people of Flint would continue to drink the poisoned water. Nobody's going to believe this, that the one GM factory that's remaining here in Flint, they got to hook back up to the fresh, clean Lake Huron water, and everybody else.
And we were like, well, what's happening to our bodies? And they were like, they went back to it's safe as meeting all federal and state guidelines. And that was like the drum.
But the auto parts that had to be washed in the factory had to have the clean, pure water.
Yeah.
From Lake Huron.
Yeah, because profit reigns supreme. We didn't own General Motors. That's why we didn't get like the clean, safe water.
So, you know, Trump is looking at this whole Flint water poisoning, and he's got to be thinking, wow, the governor got away with poisoning a majority black city? What will I be able to get away with?
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Go home and get a job. Go home, get a job. Yeah, and if there's a group out there, just throw them the hell out.
Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. I will pay for the legal fees, I promise. Now there's a remnant. Yeah, he's right there. Hello. Uh-oh.
In the good old days, they'd rip him out of that seat so fast.
our system is broken. You know, most of the people on this stage I've given to, just so you understand. Before 2 months ago, I was a businessman. I give to everybody. When they call, I give. And you know what? When I need something from them, 2 years later, 3 years later, I call.
Those are not normal in Flint. It's going down like a motherfucker.
Wow, where is it?
Oh my God, there's another one.
Is it?
Why are they so long?
June 25th, Flint, Michigan. It was like, boom.
Didn't warn nobody in the neighborhood.
Oh God, this is so insane.
And it freaked me out.
Obama's Department of Defense decided to use Flint as a training ground to prepare Army troops so they could fight future wars in urban communities.
What are you guys doing this training for? It's just to conduct some realistic training.
No one in Flint was warned in advance that they would now be used for target practice.
A few things broke in our house. Glass started to fall off the table and stuff.
What are we going to do? Everybody better fucking get ready.
What organization are you a part of?